Hello, everyone. My name is Alex Olinkwitz. I am the developer of Frostbite Deadly Climate. And, well, I guess I thought I would show you this early prototype build of what my current game project is. Which I have to probably make things clear. There was basically some juggling. I think if anyone actually has followed me on like Steam and stuff, I kind of try to mention things about new game projects and stuff. Um, and usually there's always a little bit of like trouble as a new dev. You're trying to figure out when is the right time to probably mention a new game or so, because if you try to stay quiet for so long, you might wear off some people worn off, so people will forget about you and stuff like that. And as a new developer, you don't want to lose people that might be very interested in your games and switch. You need to make business. So it's always been like a trouble time of when it was the right time to announce a project or not. Because I've been fiddling with a couple of different game ideas, seeing them try to work, but then come across barriers that kind of made me realize that I can still make them eventually, but or even try to half-ass it in some ways, which I don't want to do. So it's like, what? I'm not gonna. I know I can't cross this barrier now, so might as well hold it off and try to look at a different project and everything like that. But of course, unfortunately, I've announced them saying, "Hey, I'm making this" and stuff like that, and I really hate literally saying, "Oh, well, this idea was this, and now I'm doing this" or something like that. Like I'm very new to this, and I'm not really that used to trying to know when it's a good time to really, mention my projects and stuff like that. But yeah, so now I got this project now, and well, I guess there needs to be clarification. If anyone actually have seen some of the things, one of the more recent posts that I post on things like Steam and stuff like that was, hey, here's an image of the research base for my next game, and it's a spiritual successor slash remake of Frostbite. Um, and it was basically, like the reason why I'm making this is so I can put. So basically, because I can't put the original Frostbite game on mobile phones, so I'll make a remake that will be put on mobile phones. And then I realized, oh, you know what? Let me make some tests on the mobile port by testing my original game on mobile phones. Just realized, wait a minute, actually, I can put the original Frostbite game on mobile phones, so let me do that. And then it's like, oh, well, now that the original Frostbite game is on mobile, why bother with this remake and everything? And yeah, that kind of happened. And, you know, and honestly, I kind of feel kind of glad because honestly, I didn't really seem to have the strongest motivation with the remake because it was just pretty much me making Frostbite again. It's like I already have made Frostbite again and again and again and again. Um, but of course, some people want sequels or something to it. And well, luckily, after the mobile port of the original Frostbite game, something really clicked in my head. And well, you know what? I now have an idea for pretty much what could be Frostbite 2. It's which right now I'm just dubbing as Frostbite Winter Chill. That could be its official name. It could be just its temporary name until I think of a better name or so. Or even it could be a spiritual successor with a different name. Because the thing is that this is pretty much a in-name only sequel. It doesn't have any connections to the original Frostbite Deadly Climate game. It doesn't follow a similar story. The setting is completely different. Even in fact, like the reasoning for the whole ice monsters and everything is completely different, and and stuff. So in a lot of cases, this could be an actual spiritual successor, but I probably might still call it Frostbite, for a couple of for like brand recognition or something, even though brand recognition for that. But yeah, and I do have to admit, I am pretty strongly determined with this one. I guess because now I actually like the concept that I went. It's different, but it still fits. And honestly, it kind of fits what the original attempt of Frostbite, what I originally wanted Frostbite to be. Really, like Frostbite. When I first created it, it was basically a college project first. So the main focus when I was developing it was focused on the gameplay and the level design, my classes and stuff like that. story and settings is a side thing. So of course it was just like very easy to just like, yeah, it'll just be the thing, the game. And well, of course, it expanded to more, but it still retained that whole the thing, the game kind of thing with setting and story. But now that that's out of the way and everything, I wanted to create some more different original story, and well, I finally have an idea for what the original story, and it actually fits the kind of ideas that I wanted for the original Frostbite to basically be. And well, yeah, now I'm working on that. So in any case, might as well just show you what I have so far. It's just mostly programming right now. So what you're seeing here is just basically a little simple prototype room I made just so I can show off this thing. Um, and if you want to know, a lot of this is assets. I didn't like model these or anything like that because the main focus for the prototype is the programming and trying to test out some functions and gameplay mechanics first before I actually do things like creating the world and creating the environments and stuff like that. So this is just all like programming testing. So what you're going to see is not what the official game is going to look like or something like that. So don't like just jump to like, oh, this is what weapon you're using or something like that in the game. But right now, what I'm going to show off is a few things. For one thing, the just like the original Frostbite game, this is a first-person game. Hold on, let me actually take a drink of water. I'm losing my voice. Sorry about that. But yeah, it's a first-person game, and much like in the first-person game, but it's a first-person shooter game because I do think that I want some combat in my horror games. I miss having combat, other methods than just running away from your enemies to fight. So this game has combat, and much like in the original Frostbite game, you have a sort of weapon. So in the original, you had a pistol, a shotgun, and a rifle, and a hatchet. And this game, you have pretty much the same arsenal, except there are a few differences. One, you do not have a hatchet, and the reason why is because, well, there is now a standard melee attack on all weapons. So you can melee attack an enemy. The melee is mostly going to be like a melee push, like the enemy is going to be pushed back or something. That's what I'm thinking of doing, and it's going to cause very, very little damage. So you really need to rely on your firearms more than the melee. But that's basically what I'm going through now. Oh yeah, I should mention the reason why you don't see like the body temperature system going down or my character shivering right now is mostly because I just have that disabled. I basically just made a quick rig to turn that off just so that way I can take as much time explaining little things before I have to do it. But you know what? I'll turn it on now since I'm showing off things. So hold on, turn it on. Oh, let me just actually do that. There we go. Back to full health, full body heat. I don't know why it just drops to 0. But yeah, there you go. But yeah, as you can see, when you are near 0, you will soon lose health, and your screen will flash and everything a little bit. But yeah, you got your standard weapon arsenal that was in like the previous game, like that. But a few things are different because now now you can aim down sights. I should also mention that I am using also some programming assets to help ease this. So I didn't like program all this aim down sights and everything. I got like a good asset to help. I really like. I think it's called the FPS starter kit, and it's a good starting kit to help get a few of these, a lot of the main functions of your weapons down. There were a couple of things that weren't available, so I had to program them in myself. But again, it really helps to like give out a couple of things, such as now every weapon has melee and all the weapons have aimed out sides and all that stuff. It helped me a lot. But there are a few new things. Instead of a hatchet, you now might have this bow. I have some ideas with it. You might be able to take some guesses through what you might see from in demonstrations or so, but I'm not going to give away much yet. But I have this bow. This was actually not part of like the asset. Like this is something I had to program. I did find like a archery asset, and I had to reprogram a lot of things so it can work with this. But yeah, like again, I feel like I have to mention assets and stuff like that because I know that some people tend to, do asset flips and everything. And, assets are very helpful to actual developers who want to create real games. But, when people see an asset, they're like, oh, this guy's doing an asset fit. It's like, well, I need to show that I'm not doing an asset fit. I'm doing what you're supposed to do with assets, which is take them, modify them, and use them to help build your game out of it. But yeah, so you have a bow here. You can, pull it back and fire it and hit like that. And, right now, for some reason, I want them to stick to the ground and stuff. I need to work on why that is. But right now, if I do this, you can see they actually are just falling through the object floor and everything. So I need to figure out that. But, much like any bow, you can hold it as long as you want to do a full throw, or, throw it in a smaller distance. Or this is something that I programmed. If you have the bow fully out and you don't want to use the bow, like you make second thoughts, you just press the interact button and you stop it. Nice and then. Hold on, let me add some more heat to my character, just so that way, we can won't be like constantly distracted by that. But you kind of probably saw the shivering effect and everything like that. But yeah, there's the bow like that. And if you collect bows, it will refill and stuff like that. But that's the other thing. And again, you can switch to your other weapons. You can either use the weapon wheel, or you can press the specific number of key for that. Another thing that I thought I'd do is, now instead of a flashlight that was permanently on your body and it was permanently on, you now have a lantern that costs fuel. And you can probably imagine what I might be doing with this if you played the original Frostbite game and one of the main mechanics of the game. So you have a lantern and it uses fuel. For people who might have concerns, do not worry. This is not going to be like the rooms are going to be so pitch black you can't see things without your lantern. You will be able to see the world. It's only like certain things will be more easier to see when you have a lantern out and everything. It's just I'm not going to try to make the game that annoying thing. And I want to try to be very generous with how long the lantern lasts and stuff like that. But, you have this lantern, and unlike, like some games where you have a flashlight, you can't use your weapons while you have this out. But again, you can pretty much, switch between your previous weapons on the fly by just simply, put in the flashlight away. Well, I mean, the lantern away. Or you can just simply, equip the weapon you have already. From that and much like any much like in the first one, if you fire a bunch of bullets and everything, press reload, and each bullet is planted in. Voila. And a few different additions to the game is, you have, of course, your standard sprint, which can consume stamina. Much like, if I melee, you consume stamina because, again, a lot of the body temp system has some ties to this thing. You can crouch, but there's now also the quick turn function, which in the original game was set to move backwards and press the shift key. In this case, it is a simple button press. It's tied to the Q button, and that's what's going to be done with that. So you can just quick turn whenever you want by just pressing the Q button. And here's a fun thing: you can jump in this game. You have a jump button. Yeah. And I think because the type of environment and setting I'm going with this time, I'm not going to give it away yet or so. Probably might actually be best to have a jump button in case of for more better movability. And much like your melee and your sprinting, this does cost some stamina and everything. I still need to try to make some good balance in that. But yeah, that's basically a thing. Over there is just some item pickup tests and stuff like that. So, no. But one thing I'll probably show is definitely there's a bit of a change with the inventory system. In the original game, it was pretty much going with the Resident Evil limited item things. This time, this is going with the more Silent Hill inventory system, where you can carry pretty much a large amount of items. There's no real worry about managing inventory items. And probably some people might be a little disappointed of that being gone, but there's a couple of different reasons why I'm going this route and everything. But yeah, so now you have an inventory that has these items. I'm going to pick these up. And if you're wondering, I'm going to just mention this. Just for testing purposes, I decided to just like take the item names and descriptions from the games, from the Silent Hill games, and use them as this, just so I can test out how the text works around the inventory and stuff like that. But yeah, here's like the inventory screen. It pauses the game, and you can't like use the items in the inventory. This is just used to if you want to examine the items that you collected. And in case you're like, oh, how many bullets do I have in these guns? Well, you can just recheck here and stuff like that. Supplies don't have any icons, and like stuff like this needs to change. And again, this is all subject to change. This is just prototyping right now. But as you can see, you have an inventory that you can fiddle around with, and actually you can use the keyboard and stuff like that. But again, these you don't like just like you go into this inventory to use these items and stuff. And most like things I'm working on is like will be like either in some automatic forms and stuff like that. And as you can see on the top, there's a journal and a map. Map is not implemented yet, but the journal is. You don't have any journal entries yet, but I'll show you what the journal entries are. Oh, hold on. There you go. In this case, when you walk over and pick up a document, and again, like these are Silent Hill documents that I took for testing purposes, but like if you pick it up, here it is. If the game pauses, it pulls up the screen of the text, and the document is stored. So unlike the first game where you have to backtrack and find those documents again, now they're readily available in your inventory screen. So you can always relook at them again, like it. And yeah, so here's a bunch of others. And yeah, like I said, you can scroll through them to look at them, or you can also go to your inventory to look at your inventory items and stuff like that, or see the map. But again, no map at the moment. And again, there's still more work to be done with some of the programs. Like I have a new way about of regaining your heat back and stuff like that, which I need to fill with. And I also need to work on some new prototypes of how the enemies behave now and stuff like that. But yeah, this is a little bit of what I'm working on right now for what I'm dubbing as Frostbite Winter Chill. Again, might not be the official name, but yeah, this is what I have so far, and I am really very determined with this one. I'm not 100% sure about a couple of things with it, but again, I'm still in the early stages with it. But I thought I might as well show something for you guys, so you're not just seeing so you don't think that Frostbite was just this one game and I'm done forever. I'm actually working and everything. It's still a little bit of a challenge of doing these things as a one-man only team at the moment. Who knows? I might actually look into freelancing or getting some teams together to do other aspects of this game, but who knows? And yeah, flashing if you are low on health and everything. There might be some other breaks and stuff. Let me just throw in. There we go. So that doesn't happen. Again, that's not going to be in the game. This is just only so I can properly test and show off things without that. But yeah, this is what I'm doing. I also actually am thinking I actually did open up. I did actually set up a Patreon page for me. Don't have any rewards or anything set up yet. Maybe I'll put the link in the description if anyone really feels like supporting me right now. But I don't really have anything to offer or so for Patreon supporters. So I mostly recommend not bothering yet until maybe later or down the line. I just have I have one prepared just in case if I do realize that, oh yeah, maybe Patreon might be very useful for me in the indie development, because some indie developers found some use with Patreon stuff. I don't know if it will work for me, but still debating and stuff. But yeah, maybe I'll put a link in there. Link if people feel interested in supporting me, despite the fact that I have nothing to give to thank supporters or so. Well, anyway, so this was the showing off a bit of the prototype and everything, and yeah, I don't know when I might how often I'll show off prototypes or something like that, but I thought I might as well show something to give people an idea of what I'm working on and stuff like that. And I hope you guys are looking forward to what I might be able to bring to the gaming world with project and stuff like that. Yeah. Well, also I gotta say, it's past 3 a.m. I need to get to sleep and everything. So I'm gonna cut the video now. because I'm just going to constantly ramble and everything if I don't. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed what you saw. And, well, I'll see you around.